Ato Forson has had a certain kinds of response on Ghana television. Now, he was asked on the morning show program on GTV what the NDC would do differently. In effect, as a leader of the opposition's economic thinking part, he's a ranking member of Parliament Finance Committee, and he's a former Deputy Minister of Finance. So yes, he's a big man in terms of thinking the finance, the figures, the calculus, and the analysis. So he was asked a question on Ghana Television's morning show program about the what government should do, in effect, what the NDC will do. This is what he said.
And I'm telling you that the first thing they should do is to cut, in fact, place a moratorium on new loans. Number 2, cut foreign finance debt. And number 3, review all your flagship programs. Make them efficient. Those that are not functioning, improve them properly and cut unnecessary expenditures in some of them.
So which of these flagship programs would you suggest?
They are the government.
Should take the cut? Should it be free SHS? Should it be school feeding?
No. It can be one district, one factory.
Which the government is telling us has put 106 factories out there with 140 plus more under various stages of completion.
My sister.
And they are creating jobs.
It's very disgraceful to hear from the government that they have created 106 factories, because they themselves know that is not true. So I'm surprised that they can lie from their heart out. It's not true. They have
the president said it, the vice president said it.
We know they have not created. They have changed existing companies that are functioning from one district, one factory, and they have given them some tax exemptions. In short, they have given them money for them to run their activities. Some don't even need it, but they've given it to them in the name of one district, one factory, for them to use the logo or the name one district, one factory. That is wasteful. And that's why I'm saying review some of them.
So that's Ato Forson. That's what you heard him talk about, what the government should do, the 3 things. He says, relook at flagship programs. I wonder how people feel about it. I mean, the National Democratic Congress, they are in power for 8 years. They don't have a flagship program. Another government council has flagship programs. There's a difficult economic time. He says you should review your flagship programs. No problem. So he's asked the question, which one should be reviewed? Then he chooses one. He chooses one district, one factory to be reviewed. Now, this is the flagship program, which is at the base, it's at the pivot of changing the Ghanaian dynamics in terms of the way our economy looks. The so-called Gadget's-Beck economy, the economy of producing raw materials and sending it abroad. This one district, one factory is at the center of, it's a panacea to, it's at the center of solving that problem. This one district, one factory is also at the center of ameliorating the unemployment difficulties in Ghana. Here is Ato Forson, who has been asked on a television program to choose which flagship programs government should stop, because he has made that suggestion that government should stop flagship programs. Choose which flagship program government should stop. He says one district, one factory. Doesn't want people to have a factory to work in. He doesn't want people to produce anything. He wants Ghana to remain what it is. He was actually intimidated by, should we take out free SHS? He dodged that one quickly, because that's obviously intimidating. If I were him, I'll be intimidated. How are you going to look in people's faces and say, there's economic difficulties, so stop free SHS? Free SHS that was discussed, you said it's not possible. The man comes and he implements it. It has become possible. They are doing double track. Yes, it has rolled out 1.2 million people who couldn't have paid school fees. Some of them we are seeing getting scholarships to go to international big universities. And you sit on TV and you will say that free SHS should be scrapped. No, he can't. That was an intimidating question. I like the interviewer. She put that to him. Should we stop free SHS? And he quickly dodged it. Then in his attempt to answer the question, he said, okay, stop one district, one factory. I think that's very difficult to sort of take. It's very, very uncomfortable to ask somebody to stop one district, one factory. Wow. Anyway, so let's move on and see we're putting a very simple question now. The response to Dr. Bawumia. So who is going to deliver the response to Dr. Bawumia? Let's have a look at it. Who is going to deliver that response? Okay, so that's Ato Forson, who has already begun talking, except that his first shot is not very good. He says, review flagship programs, stop one district, one factory, don't roll out factories. No, that's not going to work. But he has a potential to do that, but we really want the NDC to do that. Now, the NDC were good. Sami JV was good in talking about Dr. Bawumia and getting Dr. Bawumia to speak. Now Dr. Bawumia has spoken. We are a modern, growing democracy. We need the opposition to be able to challenge, reasonably challenge what Dr. Bawumia said. We have to have the opposition to challenge him with data. And they have to come and have some analysis and say that, no, what Dr. Bawumia told you is not true. This is the context within which he should have spoken. This data that he relied on is outdated. This is the data. That's the kind of thing the young people want to see. They don't want to see the politics of old. They want to see modern politics, the kind of politics they see happen in the United Kingdom, facts for facts, data for data, style for style. Nobody is just rabble-rousing. Nobody is lying. We are dealing with it. So Dr. Bawumia has spoken. The opposition must come in and respond. Case Ato Forson has begun, hasn't he? Was it that good? Okay. It could be Isaac Adongo, couldn't it? Because he's also an economic sort of wizard, and he is the first person to have named Dr. Bawumia as the Wale Adam Smith, and now they call him the Bolgatanga Adam Smith. So it could be Adongo. Will Adongo hold a lecture to deal with what Dr. Bawumia has said, or should we as Ghanaians accept what Dr. Bawumia has said and run with it, and the opposition to hold their peace because they couldn't really challenge the data and the facts? Is that what we should take it to be, or we should wait and see whether they are coming? Maybe they are coming. It could be Isaac Adongo. Yes. All right. Oh, what's happening? Okay, it could also be Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, because he likes talking about Dr. Bawumia a lot, doesn't he? And we remember Dr. Tonyedu said in 2016 that there was nobody to respond to Dr. Bawumia, and that's why the NDC lost the election. Not just the election, but lost the argument. You see, before an election, before you win an election, you must first win the argument. If you don't win the argument, you can't win the election. It's always the case. For those of us who have studied elections around the world, if you ask me what was the argument for Ghana's election in 2000, I'll tell you what it is. If you ask me what was the argument for 2008, the one who won the argument won the election. So the point Tonyedu was making about Dr. Bawumia was not so much about the election. He was saying, and Dr. Tonyedu is an anthropologist, so I understand where he's coming from. He was saying, when he says there was nobody to challenge Dr. Bawumia, it means that in terms of the argument, the opposition, the government, NDC at the time, allowed the MPP to win it. And that Dr. Bawumia was a leading advocate of that argument. And that's the point he's making. So here is the argument again. Is the NDC winning the argument, or is the MPP winning the argument? Whoever wins the argument will have the pole position in the election. Now, Dr. Bawumia has spoken. People have heard him. Now, we need to hear that response. Otherwise, we will accept what Dr. Bawumia is saying. Felix Ofosu-Kwakye could be the one to do that as well. And we're not talking about radio station and television station commentary. No. We are talking about delivering a lecture the same way Dr. Bawumia did, the way I hear Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman is about to do in education. Yes, but deliver the lecture, have the data, confront what Dr. Bawumia said. You have the benefit of what he said. You can confront it and deal with it. Okay. All right. And then there's, could it be Ofosu Ampofu, the chairman? Most unlikely, though. Could it also be Johnson Asiedu Nkatia? Johnson Asiedu Nkatia has a degree from the School of Administration at the University of Ghana. So he just might wear a different cap and deliver it. He's a very well-educated man. So he just might wear a different cap and deliver. Let's see whether Johnson Asiedu Nkatia will be the one to pick up the challenge, because he likes challenges, doesn't he? Good luck if it is him. Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman should have been the right person to deal with it, because the shadow vice president, if you like, she is the Martin Amidu put up that term many years ago, and we all laughed at him. But permit me to borrow from Martin Amidu. Shadow vice president, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. So maybe she can take it up and then deal with it, isn't it? But she's speaking on education, I understand. Okay, next is Al-Hassan Suhuyini is in parliament, and one of the young guys in parliament, and maybe he would elect himself to say that I've seen what Dr. Bawumia have said, I've looked at the data, it doesn't add up, I'm prepared to challenge him. And then, so the question is being asked within the NDC corridors, who is going to respond to Dr. Bawumia? Here is Sami Okujeto Ablakwa, who is the ranking member for the Foreign Affairs Committee and member of parliament for North Tongue constituency. He always has a lot to say politically. So he might elect himself and say that I'm going to deal with the Dr. Bawumia challenge. So it's about the challenge. Elvis Efri-Ankra, he's running for general secretary of the party. Maybe he'll use it as an opportunity to launch his campaign. Who else could he be? Okay, so we're not finding anyone else for now. We're not finding anyone else for now. But the question we are asking them is, who is going to respond to Dr. Bawumia? We remember we read a story in the Bible where the father said, who is going to go down and die, and then heaven was quiet. I think that when this question is asked, the table around the NDC top brass will be quiet. But we are waiting for them. We are going to remind them every week that we are waiting for the person who come and deliver the lecture. Sami Jemfi, congratulations to him. He brought Dr. Bawumia out. Dr. Bawumia accepted the challenge. He's come out, he's spoken. Now, the NDC must respond. Okay.